If you have been following my training over the past couple months, you know that I train on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I have been uploading training videos from Wednesday's workouts on Wednesday evenings. It's Wednesday morning in the States, and this week there was no training because no training took place. I have, starting from last week on Monday's squat workout, the 5x3 with 345 pounds, I feel like I've entered into an overreaching stage in my training, which is something which all lifters or power lifters go through. And generally it's something which lifters purposefully do before a meet, and then they do a taper. They do like a week or two of a deload before a powerlifting meet. And I'm not competing in South Korea. It's not easy to find a meet. I've just done this kind of through my own pushing. And a taper or a deload is generally a week or two of perhaps no training or lower intensity, which means lighter weights, and lower frequency, which means fewer sets and fewer reps. And I have done this to myself by not following the program as it is written, and I will go into that later in this video, and I'll be putting up some screenshots from my computer and talking more specifically about the numbers and stuff like that. But the purpose of this video is to talk about overreaching. And there's a term, overtraining, which you can find on the internet, and that is something which there's very little research on, and people have kind of stepped away from using that term and are now using overreaching. And it's something which I definitely have experienced myself, feeling it right now, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, I have overreached into, completely new strength levels for me, which is great. But it's something which you definitely need to get out of. And there are different methods of doing that. Anyone can hop onto Google and Google overreaching, and there's symptoms of it and whatnot. But I'm going to talk about what I personally have experienced, because I think that everybody that lifts, experiences and feels, different, symptoms of it. And, particularly for me, I am 38 years old. And so, your age also, plays a factor in overreaching. So, hope that this video is informative and, can provide some insight into the feelings you might be having if you are training and it's just not going very well. There's some very real reasons as to why that might be happening. It's a little bit later in the afternoon, and I'll just talk about now how I knew that I was overreached. And what it came down to was on April 25th, which is about 2.5 weeks ago, I did a squat 5x5 with 325 pounds, and in that training video I mentioned how it was just easy and how some days are just light and easy, and the workout was wonderful. And that week I deadlifted 440 pounds for an AMRAP set of 6, and it was awesome. And the workout, I think I hit a row PR. I think I did 100-pound rows for 15 reps. And just everything went great. And I believe I also hit a close grip bench press PR on that Friday's deadlift training days as well. So yeah, it was going really great until then. And then the following week, it was May 2nd, and I did a 5x3 with 345 pounds on the squat, and it was extremely hard, and it was very trying. And that was, I guess, 3 days after that previous deadlift training. And I can remember in my training video for that day, the last rep, the last set, I put death rep on the video, and that was the first squat rep in a really long time that I thought I might actually miss. And I, in the video, I'm telling myself like, come on, and I hadn't done that in a long time. I lifted it, but yeah, it was really hard. And the Wednesday after that squat day for the high bar squats, I really wanted to go in and have a good high bar squat session, and I thought to myself, okay, let's just do 315 and try to get 3 sets of 6. And I got 6, I think it was 5, and it was really hard, and my hips were shooting up before the bar, and my legs went up, and it was a real grind, and it was a struggle. And I actually stopped that 3rd set and only got 5 reps. And so then fast forward to the Friday of that week, which was May 6th, I went in and I did a deadlift AMRAP with 445 pounds for 5 reps. And that was last week. And that was basically everything that I had left. And the week, 1 week before, I deadlifted 440 pounds for 6. And then the next week I did 445 pounds for 5. Now that 5-pound difference, isn't very much, and to just literally not even have a hope of getting a 6th rep with 455, that means that my top end strength was significantly down. And more so, moreover than just that, I didn't even attempt to do dumbbell rows, and that is a huge indication that you are overreached. If you are actually in a workout and you just think to yourself, I can't do this, it's not possible, I don't even want to try, I don't want to do this, I want to go home, that's a very, very clear indication that you are overreached. The evening of that deadlift workout was when I talked about being thankful that my daughter was with my mother-in-law. I just basically was lying down all evening. Saturday and Sunday was pretty much the same. My lower back just felt beyond weak. Getting out of bed, standing up, bending over to pick something up on the floor, it was a struggle. And I thought to myself, I really don't have any strength in me right now. And so that was, it couldn't be clearer than that. And on Monday, the program that I follow called for 3 squat singles with 365 pounds. And I thought to myself, well, obviously there is no way in hell this is happening. And 3 weeks ago, I did 365 for a double. And so on Monday at the gym, which was May 9th, I believe, I went in and I just told myself I would do my mobility and warm up and do, see how I feel after that. During the warm-ups, on the left side of my hip, when I squat down, there's pain, like just legitimate pain. And my lower back also just felt like it couldn't support any significant weight. And in a low bar squat, it actually feels kind of uncomfortable just doing this. You're in a very uncomfortable position, and it puts a lot of stress on your rotator cuff and on your shoulder. And yeah, even now, God, that doesn't feel good. So not only was my back out of energy, my left hip was hurting like hell, and my shoulder was sore. Not exactly, I wouldn't call it pain, but it was definitely sore. And so after my warm-ups, I thought to myself, screw this, I'm not even gonna try. And the same thing happened 2 days later on Wednesday. The good thing is that on Wednesday of this week, when I did my warm-ups and I did my high bar warm-up weights, the hip pain was essentially gone. My lower back felt good, and it is because of that I didn't train on Wednesday. I knew that I know that I'm not fully recovered, but I did feel better and I felt pretty good. And so I thought, okay, let's just continue to rest and recover. There is no true benefit of pushing high bar squats on essentially an accessory workout. And so I definitely feel good. Monday's bench training was phenomenal. I was supposed to work up to 3 singles with 272.5 and 272.5 after 3 triples with 260 felt pretty damn easy. And so, I can get into kind of a bad cycle and a bad habit of pushing yourself when it's not called for on a program. Just because you can lift something doesn't mean that you should do that. especially because, you know, right now I'm in a period of strength building, not strength testing. And if you are pushing yourself to the limit, you are testing your strength. If you are doing what is required and, you know, based on the, you know, percentages and, you know, rep ranges and volume and intensity and frequency and all those things, you are building strength. And so anyways, Fridays benching, I worked up to a single with 287 pounds. That is 5.5 pounds less than my lifetime PR, which was 292.5 pounds, back when I weighed something like 97 kilos or like 213 pounds. And I'm 189, that's about 86 kilos. And I, without getting hyped up, without really, you know, in my video I was, you know, doing the John Cena face, and we just kind of lied down and benched 287, and I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. And it is awesome. But it's not necessarily something that I should do all the time. But it is a good sign that the benching has gone so well, and coincidentally I have followed the program perfectly with upper body training, and that's probably why I feel so great. So anyways, I'm a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous about how tomorrow's close grip bench press is going to go. If I go into the gym and 215 pounds feels super heavy, I'm going to want to shoot myself in the face for pushing myself too hard. I don't think that'll happen. And thankfully, you know, while my lower body and my lower back has been absolutely gassed and just felt horrible, the upper body training has progressed and gone extremely well. I cross my fingers that keeps up.